First, I'd like to welcome the Minister and acknowledge his very lengthy statement that he made on the National Broadband Plan. I think the Minister, in many ways, has covered the actual item and he's covered the actual main issues. Obviously, this has been an issue that's been debated in the medium and other forums over the last few weeks. And I think what this is really about for me, it's about trying to ensure that we have equality of opportunity, because I think that equality of opportunity for rural and urban dwellers is really what we're trying to promote when we're trying to promote actually broadband itself. In my county, you have roughly around 75,000 properties that have no broadband, and I think that is a huge issue where I am at the moment. I'm one of those people, and to have that issue of having not sustainable broadband has a major issue on how society develops and how these communities develop. And I think that is the core issue why we put this actual national broadband plan together, to ensure that we could have that equality of opportunity, so both rural and urban can go forward. And if you look at this situation of this intervention zone, it's called an intervention zone because the private operator, which is running the telecom operations since, I'd say, the late 90s, will not go there because it's not financially viable. Because of that, the government have to step in and to provide a subsidy to ensure that we actually get that equality of opportunity for the actual dwellers of rural Ireland itself. And I think the National Broadband Plan has been something that everyone has been calling for so long. I think Fianna Fáil have been calling for this announcement continuously over the last 6 or 8 months. It was announced 2 weeks ago, and they didn't want the announcement. So it's quite a bizarre scenario that when it was actually announced, they said, oh no, we don't want this happening now. So I do think the political game needs to be acknowledged of what's happening here. We're trying to move forward with the plan to ensure that we do have that opportunity for the actual rural dwellers itself. And the cost, people have been talking about the cost, and it's a significant cost on the state. There's a significant investment by a private entity. But for the actual retailer, the consumer, the person in the house, the cost is actually quite feasible. It's a quite practical cost. €30 per month. I think that's what you pay for any broadband service throughout Ireland. And that's going to be controlled by a regulator. So when you look at the actual service that the people of Ireland are going to get, it's a very cost-based service that everyone can buy into. And if there isn't actual uptake, I think Senator Crockwell was on about significant, if there was an uptake in rural Ireland, some dwelling, the state doesn't actually have the liability of that. That's up to the private entity that provides the actual broadband service itself. So we don't have that liability as the state. That's realistically on the provider. But this is about trying to ensure that as a society we can move forward. We could do with what Fianna Fáil are trying to do, which is postpone the plan, kick it down, retender. Retender would take another 37 months, we heard in the committee during the week. Another 37 months before we could start this process again. I know my public, I know my constituents. If I went back to them tomorrow morning and said it'd be 37 months before we can move forward with a proposal, it might be the exact same proposal, but a proposal, I can only imagine the reaction you're going to get. This is about trying to ensure that we can move forward in a sustainable way, that society can move forward. This is a complicated contract with over 1,500 pages tied into it that really ensures that that equality of opportunity is there for everyone in society. So the 2040 plan can be delivered, so we will have a counterbalance to the East Coast that we don't have at the moment. So rural and peripheral areas can develop, that people have the opportunities to work from home. So smart farming and actual health, your ability to be monitored on health can all be done now with this new medium. This is a changing medium. This is going to be speeds up to 500 megabytes per minute, really important stuff. So what I'd say is we need to look at what we're doing here. We're having a short, sharp exchange in the Communications Committee over the next 6 weeks. I think that'll bring exceptional clarity. I think next week it'll bring exceptional clarity when the Secretary-General of the Department of DPRO is going to come before us. I think that is important we have that debate, but then we need to move forward together. Because the one thing that rural Ireland doesn't want now is political squabbling over trying to ensure that we get this equality of opportunity. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks.